The United States and China are at war, not with missiles and guns, but with their currency, dominance, and data. In this video, we're going to talk about the United States and China economic wars and how and why they happened and how you are going to be affected by it. Let's go. So, how did this came to be? To start, in the 1970s, now China opened up the economy, and for the next 40 years it grew at full speed. Factories exploded and cities came up and trade with the West boomed. And by 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization. The United States thought that China could play by the rules and become a free market democracy, but China instead doubled down on something different: state-led capitalism. This means that government-backed companies could pop up, heavy subsidies and strict limits on foreign competition. Going back to 2018, the United States had a massive trade deficit, and tensions were rising, and things boiled over. Now, things flew in both directions, but let's be honest, this war started before even Trump became president today. This is a clash of systems, two superpowers with two different ideas on how the world should work. Now, this fight isn't just about trade, it's something bigger and something more. But here are the four things they are fighting over. First, technology. Recently, China launched DeepSeek V2, a massive open-source language model that was meant to rival OpenAI's ChatGPT. It wasn't a cool product, it was a message. Now, China is no longer catching up in AI, it's trying to set standards. And while American companies like Nvidia supply chips, the United States has begun to cut China off from its most advanced AI hardware. So what did China do? They're now trying to build their own GPUs, and models like DeepSeek are just the beginning. Now, this is what the United States fears most, that China won't just copy technology, it will create its own influence, free from United States influence. Number two, influence and infrastructure. China's Belt and Road Initiative is basically a massive network of ports, railroads, and power grids built across more than 140 countries. It's like China's way of exporting its influence one concrete project at a time, and it's poured over $1 trillion into global infrastructure, building roads, ports, and digital networks across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Now, some critics call it debt trap diplomacy, and supporters say it is the global South's best shot at development. Now, the United States and her allies launched its own program, the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, or PGII. It's newer, slower, and much smaller in scale, but it's backed by the G7. And its focus is on clean energy, cybersecurity, and transparent financing. Number three, digital platforms and data. Now let's focus on TikTok. It looks like a fun app, but Washington sees it as a Trojan horse. Now, the United States Congress passed a law in 2024 demanding that TikTok either sells its US operations to an American company or be banned entirely. Now, its parent company, ByteDance, is also based in Beijing. And even though TikTok says that your data is stored in the United States, many lawmakers didn't agree with that. A Chinese app reaching to over 170 million Americans directly challenges United States media power. And if the United States bans TikTok, you can expect China to strike back, and possibly by restricting access to American apps or services. Lastly, resources. Let's talk about something that even a game in 2012 has predicted. In that game, a global conflict breaks out over rare earth minerals, the stuff that is used in everything from fighter jets to smartphones. Now, fast forward to today, that's literally happening because China is controlling about 60 to 70% of the world's rare earth processing and refining. In 2023, China restricted exports of gallium and germanium, two key minerals used in chips and military tech. The United States is also rebuilding to build its own rare earth supply chains, and fast. Now, here is where it gets personal. How does it affect you and me? For the United States, it means protecting its tech economy and global investments. Now, for China, it means that this is a chance to step up and prove it can lead in various sectors like AI and digital trade. But here's the downside. The countries are investing more in competition rather than cooperation, which can lead to mistrust, trade wars, or even military intervention if things go south. Also, the same conflict puts a lot of pressure on countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Of course, you can say it's good because they can get more options, because competition drives investment, but there is a risk from heavy Chinese debt loans to restrictions by the United States rules. And also us will be affected too, because on prices on consumer goods and electronics due to tariffs and disruptions in the global supply chains. Even TikTok, the accounts that I have, or even other content creators who are using it, can get banned overnight depending on what country is taking the shots. But here's the flip side. Both countries fight for a better world in the future. And even though they have negative repercussions, they can fight well for a better future we can hope for, which is good for our planet and possibly good for our wallets too. If you have enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. And let's go to another video here where I can share more of the insights. See you then.